Hi, and welcome to Judy Kerr's Acting is Everything. And with this interview, we're really covering part of that everything. And men and women relationships are very, very important, and learning how to be in your femininity or your masculinity for both sexes, and coming together with relationships. So in the book, I have Dr. Sherie Zander featured, and she's given a great interview and is very helpful talking about fear and auditions and such like that. But today, we're talking about a whole different thing. So I have with me Dr. Sherie Zander, who is a marriage and family therapist, and she's a relationship coach, and she owns and operates her company that's called Can't Love Without It. Thank you, Sherie, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
Now, what is it?
Well, what is it?
Or is that a secret?
It's not a secret. You can't love without it. And everybody wants to know, well, what is the it? Well, you know, statistics show, Judy, that the majority of people want a really great, loving relationship. And yet, very few people have one. And so we think the it is the awareness and the understanding of male-female differences. And really learning how to use those differences, the knowledge of those differences, to your advantage in a relationship.
Now, for actors, is there an advantage for auditioning, working? Does it matter whether you're in your, I would think playing a feminine role, you would want to understand what that, the actor.
Absolutely, absolutely. I work with a lot of actors. I get a lot of people coming to me just because of your book. A lot of people out there are reading your book. They're reading about me and they're calling and they want to come in for a therapy appointment. And what I find is that learning about male-female differences, learning to speak the male language for women, or men learning to speak to women and speak their language, literally changes the way we view and the way we interact with all the men in our lives, or all the women in our lives. Women learn to speak effectively to brothers, sons, fathers, bosses,
directors,
the busboy. But in this field, they learn to understand how to speak to the director, how to speak to their agents, how to speak to other actors, how to speak to the photographer or the hairdresser, the makeup artist, anybody they're working with. But in that part that they're playing, once they understand the difference between their feminine energy and their masculine energy, they will have a better grasp of how to portray that person.
Now,
makes a big difference.
Sherie teaches classes, you teach seminars, you teach teleseminars, people coming in to learn this. Are most of them looking for a significant other or for a marriage? Is that?
Most of them are. Most of them are. I get every age and stage of life. I get people who have just ended relationships. I get divorced people. I get newly married people. I get singles, young, old, all ages, because women want to know how to talk to men. Judy, have you ever had the experience of listening to a man respond to you and thinking, gosh, I said this, and he heard that. He didn't hear what I said. Right. And really being sometimes confused and puzzled and frustrated with the response that you're getting back from a man that you're speaking with. It used to happen to me all the time. Now I begin to get it. I begin to understand why it is that he's responding the way it is, because I've begun to learn so much about how the male brain works.
Well, so
not easy.
How does it work? Well, I thought men were easy and women were difficult.
Well, here's the thing that very few women realize, and that is that for a man, his second favorite organ is his brain. his second favorite organ. Now,
we know what
we
the first.
all know what the first one is, don't we?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay. But I don't think we begin to grasp how important to a man are his thoughts, ideas, and opinions. Now, they're not just important to him, they are actually a part of his identity. When I don't like his idea or his plan, and I express that to him, he feels I don't like him. His identity is tied up with his thoughts, ideas, and opinions. I like my ideas and opinions, but they're not my identity. My identity is more in my feelings. His are in his thoughts, ideas, and opinions. Well, once I know that, I can decide how I'm going to respond to him. And for me, the bottom line in speaking the male language is deciding to respect those thoughts, ideas, and opinions. Respect his thinking.
Well, what if we think we don't like it? We don't like what he...
When a man expresses an idea that you don't like or you don't agree with, I have tools that I recommend, ways to respond that are going to get the most out of that communication with a man.
Because it is about communication.
It's about communication.
That's what we want.
That's what it is. And what usually happens, if I don't like his idea or I think it's wrong, man, I'm right there. I tell him, don't I?
I don't
That's
think
usually
so.
what most women do, and that's what I used to do, always. No, honey, no, that's not going to work. Here, let me show you. Do it this way. You know, just like that. See how easy it just flies out of my mouth to speak that way. But what I've had to learn, I made a decision a long time ago to release and let go of my masculine energy when I'm speaking with a man and use my feminine energy. I still have my masculine energy. It's still available to me. I use it at work. I need it. But when I'm talking to a man, the first thing I want to do is I want to respond in a positive manner. In other words, what about what he just said has anything positive to offer? Is there anything about it that I can say positive when he's presenting me with something? He's brought me something. And to him, it's precious, part of his identity, okay? So I might say, wow, I never thought of it that way. Interesting. Well, I wouldn't have done it that way, but maybe that'll work. So I'm interested in his idea. I'm giving a positive response. Secondly, I encourage curiosity. Far too many people, men and women alike, couples, when they're upset with each other, they just drop curiosity. They don't use it at all. And it's a wonderful, wonderful tool to be curious. Well, what made you decide that? Where did that idea come from? How are you going to use that?
They won't feel that you're
interrogating them or something? You know, they could. But all of that depends on your tone of voice
and your heart
and your body language and your heart. What's coming through? If you're saying, well, where did that come from? What brought that about? Why are you doing that? How's that going to work? Or if you say, I am really curious, how is that going to work? It's like two different kinds of communication. So first I say be positive, then I say be curious, genuinely curious.
Yeah.
You know, it has to sound curious, it has to be curious, it comes from inside you.
Well, and this can't be a fake thing. You can't be like you are in acting. Acting
No.
is it.
It can't be fake, but I will tell you this. When you first learn this, it was so foreign to me, Judy. It was completely opposite of how I was with men in my life. And so...
And this is a long time ago. She's been...
many years
she's
ago.
been on this for 20 years.
At least. And when I first started, I had to act as if. Because I believe that acting as if is how you learn a new behavior when you've had an old behavior that you want to get rid of. So I had to act as if as I started out, and pretty soon it became a part of me. You know what it's like, Judy? It's like learning a new language, learning a foreign language.
Really?
Yeah. In other words, if you were going to learn Italian, you'd say, okay, I'm going to Italy, and I want to learn Italian. Okay, what do you have to do to learn the language? First of all, you get a book, or you get a set of tapes, or you go to a class, and you study, and you learn, and you study, and you learn, and you practice. And you practice. And when you first get over to Italy, you land in Rome and you get off the plane and you think, wow, I know this language, okay. And you start beginning to speak their language. And right away you find out, oh, I'm not sure he got that. I don't know if I said it right,
fast.
You know? And it's a matter of practice and learning and making a decision that I want to speak this language. I want to speak it, and so I'm going to practice it. It's at the beginning, it doesn't feel like me. It may not feel like I'm being myself, but you know what? It's become me now because I've been practicing it for so many years. It requires work and practice. There's a third thing that I recommend. I'm trying to think what it is. Okay, be curious. Totally left my mind. Flew right out of my mind.
I think something happened to women because from the era that we came from,
yes,
this is how we learned to be with our boyfriends and with our men. We knew exactly how to come out of our feminine. It was all that we knew. And
absolutely.
It worked very well.
Yes.
Until something happened with women. I don't think it so much happened with men, did it?
Well, it's affected men greatly. It's really affected men, but this is precisely what happened, Judy. Back in the 40s and 50s, it was accepted fact that men and women are different.
Yeah.
We all accepted it, we knew it. But you know what? There was a little belief by both men and women that it's a little bit better to be a man. It's a little bit more powerful, and it's a little bit less than to be a woman. Okay, that's the way it was, and everybody accepted that. But you know what? Women decided, you know what? I'm every bit as good as a man. In fact, I may even be better. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show the world that I can be a man. And there was even the suggestion that we raise our children differently and that we would all turn out the same. How boring, right?
Yes.
But anyway, thank God it didn't work. And they tried to give teddy bears and dolls to little boys and trucks to little girls. And little girls would talk to their little trucks and call them by name. And the little boys would, you know, throw the little dolls across the room and break their heads off and do all the things that little boys like to do. So it had nothing to do with the way that children were raised. It has to do with a lot of other things that are different inside of us. Which we can talk about in a minute. But, so when women did this, women marched off into the work world and tried to be strong and really develop the use of their masculine energy. And now men don't know where they stand. And so men have kind of backed off. And men even expect that the woman is going to be the one that will call him up, ask him out, be the aggressive one in the relationship. A lot of men have become that, and so the men have sort of retreated into their feminine energy.
And what does a relationship look like with a feminine man and a masculine woman?
Well, in general, the way it looks is that the woman is very strong, very powerful, very opinionated. She kind of runs the show. And the man is more nurturing, more tender. He's more concerned with his feelings. He doesn't have a lot of strong ideas. And that's fine, that can work. And the main problem with that is that a woman in that position sort of becomes like a mom.
Ew.
And guess what happens
Yeah.
when a man is in a relationship with his mom? He doesn't want to make love to his mom.
It doesn't sound like it'd be too sexual.
And really what happens is often And I've had these men say to me, well, I like it that she expresses her opinions, and I want her to be strong, and I want her to tell me the way it is. But these men will become passive aggressive. They will become like a naughty little boy. And women come in all the time and tell me about the naughty little boy they have on their hands and what can I do with that. So I teach them how to regain their femininity. and it's magical.
Do they ever fight you?
Most women, by the time they get to me, are so discouraged and disappointed, and they're hurting because they're not getting their needs met by the men in their lives. And so I offer them the opportunity to change the way they interact with the men in their lives, and the relationship begins to transform.
Does the man realize what's happening?
I'll tell you this. A woman came to my class. It's a 6-week seminar, and I didn't know, but on the last day of the class, she said, you know, before I came here, we were planning to get a divorce. We were splitting up. We have 2 little children, and she said, my husband and I are like we're on our honeymoon. And she said, his worst fear now is that I won't continue to come back to your graduate class and keep learning and keep, you know, practicing what I'm practicing. He loved it. He absolutely loved it. And we hear these stories all the time because, yes, men realize that he's being, you know, a man loves it when his ideas are being paid attention to and honored and acknowledged.
Well, isn't it his world that then the woman steps into?
Well, it depends. It certainly was that way when we were growing up, but today women have careers and they have things going on that are very powerful in their lives.
Isn't that separate from your marriage or your relationship?
Well, it can be, but some women feel like I have a career and he's stepping into my life and he's stepping into my
Can he do
role.
that as a masculine man?
It's not easy for that to work if you have a masculine energy man. And if you do have a masculine energy man, you're gonna, and the woman is in her masculine energy, you're gonna be knocking heads like this instead of fitting together. And Judy, a really interesting thing that I just have discovered, women don't produce a lot of testosterone. And so when we are using our masculine energy, we need more testosterone. And so it gets produced in our adrenal glands. And this is why so many women have adrenal exhaustion. We're not meant to carry the load that men have to carry. And we're out there trying to do it, and we're draining and exhausting our systems. A man can do it without draining himself because he has a great supply of testosterone. So, you know, we've kind of turned ourselves inside out as women, and it's confused men. But I think we're getting back to a place where people are willing to accept the fact, yes, men and women are different, and neither one is better than the other. It's great to be a woman, it's great to be a man. And what I find in the things that I've learned is that I've just grown to admire and respect men so much. I can appreciate them and enjoy them so much more than I ever did. And you know, my marriage to my husband, Paul, I don't think it would have lasted a year without these things. And we've now been married for 16 years. And it's wonderful. I'm really happy and I'm enjoying.
Does he realize what, I mean, this is your career.
Well, I know, I know,
So,
yes. He does. He knows what I teach, and he's learned a lot himself. He's taken a lot of seminars.
And he likes it that you're, yeah.
Oh, and he, of course, he loves what I'm doing. He's proud of me. He's my best supporter. You know, he's always there for me.
But he still wants you in your feminine when you're dealing with him.
He does. He fixed my breakfast this morning. He's wonderful.
Great. Now, your daughter has another group that's called Can't Date Without It.
That's right.
Carrie Newell.
We're really in business together, my daughter and I, and she focuses more on the dating aspect.
And what's the it in dating?
Well, it's really the same thing. It's an awareness of male-female differences that she teaches, along with, we have a workbook that she and I have created. She teaches a dating teleclass. And we provide this dating workbook, playbook that we call it, and it's a wonderful way for someone who's dating to be able to go through the steps and find out.
And let me show the picture of the two of you.
Okay, our picture's on the back.
Yeah.
There we are.
Isn't that great?
We're a great team. We're a great mother-daughter team, and she loves to teach teleclasses. And so this is a class on a telephone. We have a lot of people ask me, what is a teleclass? But it's on the telephone, and 6 weeks in length.
And so she's coaching people on how to date, and you're coaching people on more on how to be in the love relationship.
In the love relationship.
Now, people do internet date. I don't know if you know that. And one of the important things when you're internet dating is your profile.
True, very true.
So any hints of what a masculine man would put in his profile to attract a feminine woman, and what a feminine woman would put in hers to attract a masculine man?
Great question. There are a lot of people internet dating, and I've read profiles.
Do you go along with that? Is that something that you approve of?
Oh yes, I think internet dating is wonderful. I've had couples that I've worked with that have met on the internet and have gotten married, and you know, I think it's wonderful. I think anything that works for you, you have to know yourself, know what you want, and there are a variety of ways to meet.
And you should be specific, and you should tell the truth, I think. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, because the truth is going to come out. If you start out with something exaggerated or phony, whatever, it's not to your advantage at all. I want somebody who wants me, who I am, the way I am. If he doesn't want me, wait till I find somebody that does. You know?
Yes.
I don't want to glamorize it or make it up or enhance it, you know, beyond reality. Anyway, as far as the actual profile that you write up, I've spoken with women who want to attract a masculine energy man. And what I tell these women is, in order to be in your feminine energy is to come from your feelings, speak from your feelings. In fact, this is the third thing that I was trying to remember that a woman can do when she's communicating with a man. Speak from your feelings. In other words, instead of saying, well, what I want is, or this is what I need in a man, or whatever is being said on this profile, is to be able to say what I enjoy, what I love, what makes me happy. This is what a man wants. A masculine energy man will respond to a woman's feelings. So if you can express your feelings, he will likely respond to that.
So what would that look like? What would a feeling be?
Well, to say I love to do this, I love this, or I enjoy this, or this makes me happy. So you're talking about the things that affect your feelings. Men, on the other hand, if a man wants to be in his masculine energy and reveal that that's the kind of a man he is, then he would say things like, what I want. It's masculine to want things. It's feminine to not want. So he can say what he wants, what his plans are, what his ideas are, what his opinions are. All of that he can put out there, whatever he wants to put out. And that strength of conviction and those opinions are going to draw feminine energy women to him.
Wow.
So it does make a difference how you put it out there.
Wow. We have 2 minutes left.
2 minutes. Oh my gosh, the time flies.
So what would you like to for our audience to know in the last couple of minutes?
Well, we've covered a lot.
Yes, we have.
We've covered a lot.
We have.
Yeah.
What is any more about the benefits of learning to speak each other's language?
That's an important point. People want to know if I'm going to take the effort to learn the male language, why bother? Is it really worth the effort? What are the benefits?
Why can't he just get me how
Yeah,
I am?
exactly.
Why can't I just be at home and say things the way I want to say them? Why do I have to say them?
Judy, I've got to tell you a story.
Okay.
Paul was loading the trunk of a car. We were going on a vacation, and I watched him, and I said, honey, look, if you push that over here and push that back there, then that'll fit in, and now we can go. I thought he'd be so happy. I thought he would be glad, say, right on, now we can go.
No.
Oh my gosh. He said, why don't you wait in the house and let me take care of this? I thought he would hear, I love you, I care for you, I'm here for you, we're partners, we're in this together. No. You know what he heard? Boy, are you stupid. You don't even know how to load the trunk of a car. So he didn't hear what I thought he would hear. And that's the importance of learning the male language. Because when I say something I want him to hear, I love you, I don't want him to hear, boy, are you stupid.
No.
Because that wasn't what I was thinking. But that's what he heard.
Wow.
And that happens over and over again when couples can't figure out why they're miscommunicating all the time.
Wow. Sherie, thank you so much for being with me. I think
been
this
great.
is going to help me a lot.
Oh, good. Thank you for having me, Judy. I love talking with you.
This is great. We
Yes.
did this years ago, and now we're getting caught up with
Right.
all the
We're doing it
latest that
again.
you are working on. Yeah. Any final thought about an action that a man can take today to attract that woman that he really wants?
Well, I don't tell men to attract. Women are the
Oh.
attractors.
Oh.
The men are the pursuers. They go after. And I tell men, don't hang back. Go after. Speak up. Call her up. Get her phone number. Go over there if you see a woman that is interesting to you. Go meet her. Don't wait around wondering and waiting and will she come over to me? No.
No.
Go for it.
And the woman shouldn't go over to him, right?
I tell women, you know, there are ways to magnetize and draw that man into you.
How is that? How do you
Wow.
do that?
There's a lot of ways, but one real important way is to give him eye contact. Look him in the eye, and then big smile. You got to give him a smile, because otherwise he wonders why you're staring at him. He gets very nervous. He wonders if he spilled something on his tie or something. But if you look at a man, hold that gaze, and then smile, it's going to draw him right over.
Really?
Yeah, restaurants, any place you go.